Welcome to Biz Help for You with Candy Messer, where my goal is to simplify business for small and medium-sized entrepreneurs. Too many businesses fail, and I want to change that.
Welcome to Biz Help for You, the show that saves you the expensive learning curve by providing advice from industry experts in every facet of the entrepreneurial journey. Too many small businesses collapse. According to the U.S. Census Bureau, 20% fail within their first year, and less than 35% make it to their 10th anniversary. The goal of this podcast is to change that statistic. So if you're interested in learning more to be a successful entrepreneur, tune in today.
Today, I'm tackling a topic that's often misunderstood, but crucial to the success of your business: bookkeeping. If you've ever thought bookkeeping is boring or just data entry, this episode is for you. I'm going to explain 5 common myths that could be costing you money. The first myth I want to touch on is that bookkeeping is the same as accounting. The terms bookkeeper and accountant are often used interchangeably, but the work is not the same. They're like cousins. They're related, but serve different purposes in your business. Bookkeeping is the recording of financial transactions, whether posted daily, weekly, monthly, quarterly, or annually. These include income, expenses, and payments for items such as inventory or equipment. Bookkeeping is the foundation of your financial records. And although some entrepreneurs send us their bookkeeping quarterly or annually, it is my recommendation that it's done no less frequently than monthly. Accounting takes the information provided from the transaction postings and interprets the data to provide insights such as profitability, financial trends, and tax planning. I recommend having a team with a bookkeeper and accountant, as most bookkeepers don't prepare tax returns and most accountants don't prefer to do the bookkeeping tasks. Think of the bookkeeper and accountant relationship like publishing a novel. The bookkeeper has taken the statements, receipts, and invoices and other documents to tell the story of what happened in the business. The CPA takes that information, adjusts any details necessary to prepare your tax return and any supporting financial documents to present to those who need to read through the figures, including tax agencies, investors, or even your bank. The second myth I'd like to touch on is the idea that software will handle everything for you. We've all been there, thinking that technology will magically solve all our problems. And while software like QuickBooks, Xero, or Wave is fantastic, it's not a set it and forget it solution. Software can definitely help with some of the repetitive tasks, like categorizing expenses or generating reports, but it doesn't know your business the way you do. Misclassifications, duplicate transactions, or unrecorded cash payments can still happen if you're not reviewing the data regularly. This is one reason I often say to make sure you are reconciling your accounts. Don't assume that because your software imported transactions that everything is accurate. One typical error I've seen is creating invoices for customer purchases, but when payments are received, they are posted to income rather than reducing accounts receivable. This doubles your revenue figure and shows you're owed money, neither of which is correct. Another I've seen is duplicate transactions importing, or the bank feed losing connection and missing some transactions. Use software as a tool, but make sure you or a professional are reviewing the transaction reports at least monthly. It's easier to catch and fix errors as they occur rather than having to review and revise your books when the year is ending. Speaking of reconciling, another misconception is thinking you can reconcile your accounts once a year. While technically this is true, it isn't wise. I've seen it many times. Someone waits until the end of the year or the following spring when the CPA is asking for information and tried to reconcile. But there were transactions that needed classifying and the business owner didn't remember what they were for. It's much easier to post items when they are fresh in your mind, and the time it takes is much less when you stay on top of posting and reconciling your accounts. And it's not just your checking account. For every item on your balance sheet that has a statement, these should be reconciled. This includes savings and money market accounts, credit cards, and loans. What I've also seen happen in business is that the owners had the best intentions to get the work done around year end, but things got busy, and then they put off doing the bookkeeping. They couldn't provide information to the tax preparer, and an extension was filed. But they still don't get to the work, and it's not organized, it's not completed, and then they miss the extended filing deadline. It then becomes 2, 3, or even 4 years before it gets painful enough to get it done. And that is usually when the IRS sends a notice with penalties assessed for not filing a return and sometimes assessing a tax using previous year's figures to determine a balance due. Please don't assume that you'll get to the work around the end of the year. Plan now to do your bookkeeping at least monthly. And if you realize you can't do it, reach out to a professional for assistance. Let's move on to myth number 4. Bookkeeping is only needed to file the annual tax return. I think this myth is often what causes business owners to put off doing the bookkeeping until the end of the year, thinking the CPA doesn't need the information until they're ready to file the tax return. But bookkeeping isn't just for tax season. If you only think of your books once a year, you're missing out on one of the most powerful tools for running your business. Bookkeeping provides real-time insights into your business's financial health. You can track profitability, identify unnecessary expenses, and plan for major investments. It's also a key part of staying compliant and avoiding penalties from tax authorities. As a business owner, you are required to pay estimated payments which are due in January, April, June, and September. The amount you pay can be based on the prior year's tax liability. But what if you had significant change in your business in the current year? Perhaps income drops significantly, like many experienced in 2020 when the pandemic caused many businesses to close or reduce the services they could provide. If this had happened to you and you continued to pay the amounts based on the prior year, you would have paid excess tax. Those funds would have been extremely helpful during the poor cash flow periods. Then the following year, if income bounced back significantly, but you paid the same tax amounts based on 2020 figures, you could have owed much more in tax and faced penalties and interest for not paying enough each quarter. By having up-to-date records throughout the year, you can adjust what you pay for estimated payments to more closely match what is happening in your business at that time. Your bookkeeping can also help you identify trends, opportunities, or hazards. One time, I was hired to help a business because they were growing, but cash flow was tight. I was able to analyze their books and found that although the income was increasing, they were becoming less profitable. The more they earned, the less profit they made. If the bookkeeping hadn't been done until the end of the year, none of the information needed to analyze the business would have been available, and we may not have been able to determine the cause easily. Finally, myth number 5, small businesses don't need bookkeeping. This is a misconception that can hurt your small business. Many entrepreneurs, especially solopreneurs, often underestimate the value of bookkeeping. They think, well, I don't have that much money yet, so why bother? Let me tell you why this mindset is dangerous. Bookkeeping is essential for understanding cash flow and planning for growth. You may think that you have financial information in your head, but it's often wrong. It's imperative to look at your profit and loss and balance sheet reports to understand your financial position and potential cash flow issues. And small businesses often have compliance needs. Sales tax, payroll tax, and business deductions require accurate records. It's easier to secure loans, attract investors, or make confident decisions when your books are clean and organized. Even if you're just starting out, set up a system. Whether it's a simple spreadsheet or software, having a habit in place will pay off as your business grows. So there you have it, 5 common bookkeeping myths explained and why those beliefs are false. Bookkeeping isn't just about numbers, it's about giving you the clarity and confidence to make better decisions for your business. Whether you're automating your processes, reconciling your accounts monthly, or investing in a professional, The key is to stay consistent. I'd love to hear from you. What's one myth about bookkeeping that you've believed in the past? Or maybe you have a bookkeeping success story to share. Let me know by sending me a message or tagging me on social media. You can find links to our social media platforms at the top of our website, abnp.com. I'll also make sure that they're included in the show notes. And don't forget, if you're feeling overwhelmed by your bookkeeping, you don't have to do it alone. Let's connect and we'll discuss your needs and help you take back control of your finances. We can be reached at 310-534-5577 or contact@abnp.com. I hope you found this topic informative and it helped you understand bookkeeping myths. I also want to make sure you are aware of the resources I offer. I share tips through written and video blogs as well as this podcast, and I also have a free guide to financial lingo. If you would find these resources helpful, links are in the show notes. And if there are any other topics that you would find helpful, reach out to share what you'd like me to cover in future episodes. Thanks for tuning in. Thank you for tuning in today. Would you please share this episode with those you know and leave a review on your favorite platform? And if you find our show informative, would you consider being a financial sponsor to help me continue my mission to educate business owners? A link is located in the episode description, and no amount is too small. I'd really appreciate your support. If you are interested in connecting with our guest and receiving the offer they had to share, a link to our resource page is in the show notes. Finally, if you have any bookkeeping or payroll needs, reach out to us at 310-534-5577 or contact@abnp.com. My team and I are eager to assist you. Until next time, have a great day.
Thank you for listening to Biz Help for You. Please join your host, Candy Messer, again next time. Have a terrific day.